It is our pleasure to say happy good morning, happy Saturday to you. You are back with your garden buddies, of course. I'm Brian Main. That's Tiger Palafox. Somebody's asking, where is John? John is here. He took a phone call, so he's out in the hallway. He will be rejoining us, but John is here, rest assured. And, here he is right now. Here is John Bagnasco right now. We are live on Facebook.
He likes to make a dramatic entrance.
That was a very dramatic entrance. And I'm looking at the replay right now. Here he comes, puts the coffee down, hangs up the phone, and he has joined us.
Well, do you know what I was doing?
Yes, you were talking on the telephone. Telefono.
Do you know to whom?
Oh, hold on.
You'll never
Well,
guess.
the Rolling Stones were in town.
Was it Keith Richards?
Yeah. No, close, though. It was Marty from Lemon Grove.
Oh.
Marty from Lemon Grove. That's a name that we haven't heard in a while.
Right. She's not in Lemon Grove anymore. She moved in with her sister Clarice.
And where are they living? What area of...
Right around the corner from Sharon, Asakawa.
Okay, so it's not Marty from Lemon Grove. It's Marty from right around the corner from Sharon.
Right.
I've got that right.
Is that Claremont?
I don't know. Oh, no, Bayho. Bayho area?
I don't know.
Right up from the... Anyway,
I don't
morning.
know that.
Some of you that have recently joined us have no idea what we're talking about, but the old-timers certainly do. And we are back, raring to go. What's Tiger doing? He looks really busy. Are we good?
I look busy, but
okay.
okay.
Whenever I see him so intent like that, I'm wondering about the audio and the video.
When we used to take calls, when we were a call-in show,
yes,
on the radio years and years ago, everyone was known by their first name and where they were from.
That's right.
And I remember talking to one of our listeners, and she said, I call your show so much that my kids call me Emma from Chula Vista.
Emma, the first name, from the middle name.
Right.
Chula Vista, the last name.
Last name, right.
Did you guys have a good week?
Yeah, excellent week. It was a warm one out this week, or it's getting warmer.
The last 2 days, anyway.
Yeah. Now, you got it a lot worse because you have no wind barrier, but I was telling Tiger that I didn't have to water the whole week.
Yeah,
I will water today.
Oh my
but
gosh.
It wasn't that hot that I
cool at night.
I had to do so much watering yesterday.
Yeah.
Hey, we had show and tell last week and brought in plants, and this was one that was too big for me to bring in, so I brought it in to feature on its own today.
Yeah, let me got it.
That's the giant spinner Gerbera Daisy, and it's one that I don't think you can get anymore.
A Gerbera Daisy.
Yeah.
So just
or Gerbera or
Gerber.
So people listening or
obviously
people on
babies aren't their only business.
Facebook. So a Gerber Daisy is, what? I don't know.
They're also called Transvaal Daisies, right?
Really? I've never heard that name.
Wow.
Right.
Because they're from, I think, they're Gerbers, Transvaal Daisies,
This is all news to us.
Or gazanias called
But
Transvaal
the
Daisies.
flower is, what do you think that is there, Brian? About
How
a
big?
6-inch diameter?
Yeah, pushing 6 inches.
Yeah. Bright pink flowers, huge foliage.
Now, John,
big
how long
foliage.
will that flower stay in that state before it starts
It's looked like that now for 10 days.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a nice long bloom.
So I think probably 2 to 3 weeks. And if you look down inside, you'll see another bud that's starting. So when that's gone, a new one will be up. But I wish those were available for sale.
But they're not.
There used to be other colors, too.
Can you divide that one? Are they dividable? It looks like you've
looks
got
like
multiple.
they are. It looks like there's 3 plants in there now. I had it in the ground in my old house, and
it survived the dig up.
Look at that.
Yeah,
Nice.
and I went online to see where I could get another one before we moved, and I saw they're not available anywhere. So I dug it up and brought it with me.
Yeah.
And it survived the move.
Tiger, are you ready for a little...
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear John. Happy birthday to you.
He's so uncomfortable. I love it.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
I'm squirming.
I'm looking at my brother's comment on Facebook.
Yep.
And he said, you guys should sing happy birthday to John. He loves it when people sing to him. It's just the opposite.
John, happy 51st.
But I appreciate the sentiment.
Yeah, happy 51st.
Right.
Never thought you'd make it, but you did.
I never thought you'd make it.
If we took someone who just turned 21 and added it to the 51st, that would be my age.
Well, that's too early for me to do math at this time. We hope that you've all had a good week. Those on Biz Talk Radio, welcome to this pre-recorded show. And, of course, those on Facebook Live, thank you for tuning in. A lot of people. Got a great show. The guest today, Tiger, is going to be
Nick Bavaro from Rocket Farms. We're excited. We're going to be talking about growing edible plants indoors. And also Rocket Farms does a lot of indoor foliage plants and other things you'll see in large marketplaces.
Yeah, not associated with Rocket Mortgage. That's the disclaimer.
Dana had a suggestion that maybe you try singing on key.
Well, hold on. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, we should try
not
doing
a bad
it.
idea. Me.
It's all about you.
Yeah.
It's all exactly.
I'm going to blame it on the mics.
Hey,
Yeah, these are bad mics.
would you mind, since it is my birthday, if during the interview that I just sit over here and open the presents you got me?
You know what? They're in the car. They're in the back of Tiger's truck.
Ooh.
and to be honest, a couple are too heavy to lift.
Yeah.
So we'll deal with that. Look at all the happy birthdays here.
Yeah.
That's nice. I appreciate it, everyone.
Yeah, well, we're glad you're here.
Yeah. We were shocked.
Anyway,
Well,
that
we've got a
said,
lot to do today.
We have a lot to do today.
And after the show, we're looking into possibly a new venture for us.
Yeah,
right?
we've got a new venture. I think we briefly mentioned it a couple of weeks ago.
Walk, Don't Run. Wasn't that the ventures?
That was.
Yeah.
Wow, look at you. I'm impressed.
My mind.
Especially a guy that grew up back east, Michigan. I mean, walk, don't run here. I grew up on the beach, so I would know that.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. If you do nothing else the rest of the show, I'm
That
good.
was enough? All
That
right.
was enough. Yeah, do we want to talk about the venture real quick?
Yes, we do. Carla, by the way, added, and many more.
Oh, here's somebody else. And a few more.
A few more. Just a few. Just a few more, John.
So
we
what is this-
can't handle many more.
What is this venture, John, that we're talking about?
Well, we're looking at whether it's practical or not, we're not sure yet. But, I moved into a new house, and the house is pretty much finished except the garage, which is full of unpacked boxes that we're trying to open up. Matter of fact, that'll be my birthday present. I'll go open a few boxes in the garage and put stuff away. But we're looking at I have to do all the landscaping at my house, and we have different sections, and we're looking at maybe making YouTube videos out of those.
A YouTube series of the progress of your landscaping.
Right. For instance, my wife wants the front landscaped right away, so a front landscape could be one video. Then we've got raised beds and vegetables. We could do a section over there. We've got a rose garden to put in. We've got a park area.
Well, hold on. I never promised you a rose garden. But we'll think about it.
We've got our tree pit we want to turn into a park area.
You've got it all planned out, don't you?
Yeah, and I got one, and I took pictures so I can show you guys after the show. And I've
Beautiful.
got a hillside that I want to do African plants with maybe aloes and protea. So a lot of fun things to do. Plenty of room.
And this is something that those of you watching and listening on Biz Talk Radio, once we get these uploaded, go to our YouTube channel. I think we call it Garden America Radio on YouTube, I believe.
Yeah.
So that's our YouTube channel. By the way, go there now or sometime and subscribe. Tell your friends and like us so we can continue to build this empire.
Carolyn said that YouTube's a great way to expand our program and just what we need, more work.
Yes. Hey, I do want to give a shout out, speaking of that, to Daniel. He's our IT guy. We'll be meeting with him today, who's helping us with YouTube and doing all the behind-the-scenes work. So we'll give a shout out to Daniel.
Yeah, because, the people behind the scenes, that people don't even know. We have people.
We do. We have scenes. We have scenes.
So, and if not, you'll create one.
We'll create a scene. With about a minute and a half to go until the first break, and we'll get our guest on the phone. We've got the quote of the week here from John. If we forget or we're late, boy, the emails that flood in.
Yeah.
Wow.
Never hear the end of it. We get letters even sometimes.
Do you know that today's quote is from a man who took, it wasn't Julius Caesar, it was Mark Antony's quote.
Oh, this
literally.
is his quote, Mark Anthony?
No, but this guy who did this took Mark Antony's quote literally. And this quote is from Vincent van Gogh. Are you making the connection yet?
Yes, I am. Go ahead.
Mark Antony was the Friends, Romans, and Countrymen. Lend me an ear.
Which Van Gogh took literally.
His ear.
Here you go.
My son used to tell me that timing was important, and if you have to explain it, it's probably not funny.
Wait, what?
He couldn't even finish
I
it.
love it. He cracks himself up. We got to go to a break, so give us that again.
Okay, Van Gogh said, "As long as autumn lasts, I shall not have hands, canvas, and colors enough to paint the beautiful things I see."
Oh.
Okay, well, thank you for that. We got a Van Gogh story we can tell you later on, Tiger.
All right.
We are going to take our first break. Those on Facebook Live, thank you for tuning in. Those on Biz Talk Radio, thank you for catching up. This is last week's show. We're going to take a break, come back with our guest. Do stay with us here on Garden America. We are right back with you on this Saturday morning or maybe Saturday afternoon. Maybe you're listening to us pre-recorded. However, digital streaming, we thank you for making Garden America part of your life. That said, we got all the early business out of the way. And with that, I'm going to toss to Tiger, bring in our guest. And as Jackie Gleason used to say, and away we go, Tiger.
Yeah, this morning we have the President and Chief Operating Officer of Rocket Farms, Nick Bavaro, joining us on the program. And Rocket Farms is a primarily indoor plant grower located right up here in California in Half Moon Bay. Nick, good morning. How are you doing today?
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Hey, so now, Nick, you guys produce a lot of indoor plants, and we don't want to have our listeners get confused with just like house plants, but actually a lot of indoor edible plants as well, right?
Correct. Primarily, Rocket Farms was developed around indoor potted plants, being floral, from orchids to roses, kalanchoe, campanula, things of that nature. And through that, we evolved. We saw a need in the industry for food and edible, safe, and nutritious food. So we shifted a little bit, and we started the indoor potted herb company about 3.5 years ago, and it's grown into one of the largest in the country right now.
Yeah, and I mean, you and I were chatting earlier this week, and it's kind of a neat thing. I mean, from the example of, let's say you go to the grocery store and you can get that package of basil, and it might cost you $2.99 when you can get a basil plant for $2.99, or you can buy that package of cherry tomatoes, and during this time of year they'll be coming from someplace like Mexico, or you can buy a cherry tomato plant, kind of a thing, right, Nick?
Correct. Yeah, we do. We're excited about that because it actually offers you a living and growing plant that can feed your family on a daily basis. I mean, between the herbs, the multitude of herbs we offer, as you said, the cherry tomatoes, mini peppers, these are all products that we've run through our R&D program and really come up with the distinct units that we feel have the greatest flavor, greatest shelf life, and as you said, you can buy a clamshell that will, last you 2 or 3 days in the refrigerator. This is actually a living organism and a living plant that you can keep on your countertop or windowsill for weeks on end.
And now most people are going to be confused, I think, right now listening, because they're thinking they hear pepper, they hear tomato, and there's seasons. But you guys have found that the plants that you guys have developed, indoor grown on someone's windowsill, could be grown almost year round?
Exactly. You spoke to it a little bit earlier. I mean, obviously, California traditionally grown outdoor tomatoes and peppers and different commodities, herbs, can only be grown seasonally here. In the off season, typically, September through April, it's all imported from outside this country. So we offer a product that can be grown in California year-round in a controlled environment that is USDA certified organic, and it's also an extremely safe and nutritious food that you can enjoy 12 months out of the year.
Yeah, and for the listeners that aren't familiar with Half Moon Bay is up just north of Santa Cruz, right, Nick?
Yeah, we're about an hour north of Santa Cruz and about 30 minutes south of South San Francisco.
Yeah, and so
right on the ocean.
Yeah, I was going to say right on the ocean.
It's
there.
beautiful.
And it's a beautiful area, but it's also very cloudy, kind of cool, and you guys have these wonderful greenhouses up there that you've been able to acclimate these plants. And do you ship these plants nationwide? Or do you just strictly ship to California? Where do you guys ship these plants?
So out of Half Moon Bay operation, the floral products go nationwide because they ship very well, given the certain commodity, whether it's a rose or what those commodities are. The edible programs, we do what we call a regional play, which is really the 7 western states of the United States. And then we have growing facilities in other parts of the country that we can cover the East Coast, Southeast. We have one in Florida. We have one in Ontario, Canada. So we can actually create a product that is, call it a nationwide program. But we primarily focus on the western portion of the United States.
And, people can find your product in which stores?
Well, we're a major player in the Walmart brand. We're currently in about 40% of all their stores regionally, 100% regionally, but 40% of their entire program. Safeway, Albertsons, Costco, Trader Joe's, Sprouts, Aldi's. We're in most of your major brands.
That would be pretty neat to one day be walking into a grocery store and going in the produce section and seeing plants with fruit or something on there rather than just seeing the actual just end product vegetable themselves. So that's kind of a neat thing to be happening. It's neat that you're partnering with grocery stores for that. Now Nick, when people get these products home, is there anything special they need to have? A lot of interest in these grow lights for indoor plants. Is that necessary for these plants to be successful?
Absolutely not. The products we grow are actually grown under artificial lighting. We do take advantage of what God gives us, and that's natural light. But we also have incremental lighting and temperature control that gives us balance. But the average person's home at 65 to 70 degrees is really the perfect temperatures for all these plants. And even fluorescent lights or in the normal lighting programs will work just fine. They've been grown and acclimated under those conditions. So somebody's home, you can set it on a windowsill, you can set it on an island in the middle of your kitchen, and they will thrive. We have products. We have a chef we work with out of Monterey, California, and he's had basil and rosemary plants on his countertops in his kitchen for over a year.
Oh, wow.
That continue to grow, and he still picks product off it on a daily basis.
How about any special fertilizer needs on them?
No, really, tap water is fine, and fertilizers, the plants are up and running. We kind of, as we said, this is USDA organic, so we're not adding fertilizers to the programs while they're being grown anyway. So I think it's not necessary at all to supplement with anything at all.
Yeah, that sounds like a really, really interesting product that you guys have
sounds
put
very
together.
easy.
Yeah, and it sounds easy.
It runs itself.
Neat for consumers and, excellent for the stores. We're going to have to take a break here in about a minute, Nick, but, aside from the edibles that we talked about, as you mentioned, you guys do a lot of the floral things, orchids, interior plant colors, and I heard you also mention roses. So when we get back from the break, we'll chat more with Nick Bavaro from Rocket Farms, and we'll be talking about the indoor flowering plants.
Nick Bavaro going to be back with us, our guest today on Garden America. And again, as we mentioned on the Facebook, typed out a little message to you. If you have any questions or comments for Nick or one of us, feel free right there on our Facebook page. Those on Biz Talk Radio, once again, if you want to watch and listen to us live, you can always go to our Facebook page during our show, Garden America Radio. That said, as Tiger said, we're going to take a break, come back after these messages on Biz Talk Radio. You're tuned in to Garden America. Back with you on this Saturday morning, or maybe Saturday afternoon, wherever, however. Thank you for tuning in to Garden America. I'm Brian Main. Tiger Palafox, John Bagnesco. Nick is our guest this morning as we continue with our conversation, getting into a lot of other things, including facilities, Tiger.
Yeah, and Nick with Rocket Farms is joining us, where you can find products in most major retail outlets, as you mentioned, Walmart's and Albert's, the different grocery stores.
Not the dollar store, though.
Yeah, not the dollar store.
No.
But Nick, I remember seeing the first time Rocket Farms doing orchids. What other flowering plants do you guys do? What other products do you guys produce?
We do a product that's unique to us. We have a proprietary product that the lab work and the genetics were developed in Israel. It's called Sunstar. And we do about 2 million units a year of that. Obviously, we do roses, orchids, campanula, kalanchoe. These are all flowering programs that we're pretty heavily involved in, as well as we have a huge line of succulents where we move about 12.5 to 15 million units a year of different sizes of succulent programs. We have a large facility in Southern California. There's about 18 acres that is dedicated just to succulents and cacti in a 2-inch and 3-inch format. We're really proud of that because a lot of those products have been developed in-house, genetically developed and grafted products that are pretty unique. We really focus on uniqueness, whether it's the product or the packaging itself. We set ourselves apart by that, and we're very proud of that.
And excuse me, sorry. And the other thing that I saw, like you mentioned, was the packaging. You make it very appealing to someone, I think, as a shopper, whether this is something they're going to use for their home or as a gift. Coming into the holiday season, I'm sure you guys are getting really busy. Are plants still a really hot holiday item for you?
They are. I think you obviously see the impact during the holidays, being Christmas, Valentine's Day, Easter, and Mother's Day, which are the 4 main drivers of the indoor potted world. But we're seeing a lot more. I think the consumers are really understanding what we've been all preaching in this industry is plants bring happiness. They brighten your home. They clean your oxygen within your home. And I think during COVID, where a lot more people were, homebound, that the appreciation for indoor potted plants grew. As in Europe, it's really a fundamental practice to have indoor plants in their homes. And I think as a country and a nation, we're starting to catch up with that mindset that, a lot of people can't have pets or things of that nature, but plants are something they can have in their home that will make them happy and give them pleasure.
Yeah, I agree with you. And a lot of your products that you specifically put out, have flowers, bright colors, definitely brings that happiness. Now, Nick, John was just mentioning that there was a facility up in your area, and we don't know if it's, similar to your facility or if you took it over years ago. It was called the Nurseryman Exchange?
Nurseryman's Exchange, yeah. And the facility that Nick's talking about sounds exactly like the old Nurseryman's Exchange facility.
Were you familiar with that location up there, Nick?
It is. That is actually the facility that we took over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Nurseryman's went through some struggles, and Charles Cosmont of Monterey Peninsula purchased and took over the operation and changed the name from Nurseryman Exchange to Rocket Farms, which was, one of his companies in existence already.
And John was very impressed by the facilities.
Yeah.
It was state of the art years and years ago. And the thing that impressed me the most was the way they would take, as Nick is talking about, unusual, odd plants that people haven't seen before and produce them on a scale where they're available to everyone.
Yeah, we actually do one very interesting product, and we're actually the largest in the country to do this product. It's a proprietary program that we own, and it's a strain of Venus flytrap, and it is mind-boggling how popular this product is. We do about 3.5 million units a year of this one product, and it's the cutest little product. Plant that you've ever seen. Both young and adults get a kick out of it, how it closes and catches flies or insects. And it is, again, something we try to do and strive to do is to bring something new and exciting to the category and for the customers to get excited about.
And if you've been following the news lately, they're talking about empty shelves for Christmas. So kids are going to be getting Venus flytraps in their stockings instead of toys.
And they're going to love it.
Yeah, and it'll be more exciting.
It's crazy. It's crazy. The supply chain right now is just a very, we're all struggling with that, trying to get products here as far as hard goods and things of that nature. But we're getting through, and I think I agree with you. I think a lot of folks, we actually came up with new packaging this year for a Christmas program for a couple of our larger customers that buy these. And they will be surrounded around a Christmas model.
And you and I were talking earlier this week, and John had mentioned the facilities. You guys there at Rocket Farms, though, also focus on being good stewards for the environment with your facilities. And as John mentioned, the state-of-the-art facilities back 10 years ago, even. I'm sure you guys have made improvements in the past 10 years on growing sustainably, recycling the water, temperature controls, all that. So can you tell us a little bit about how you guys meet those goals?
Yeah, I think I would invite you all to come out to our facility now. I mean, how it's evolved and the capital expenditure that's gone into the facility through automation, incremental lighting, water recirculation system. We have a state-of-the-art water recirculation system that we just completed the installation. We've always recirculated our water, but we took it to the next level into the 21st century. And it is really something we're very proud of. We've had inspections done on our facility for multiple reasons, USDA and water resources, and we get amazing feedback that we are in the forefront of that. And it's something we feel very important about because the whole premise to what we do is that we're able to deliver a product that really services what makes people happy and also feeds them good, healthy food, but in a very, very stringent manner to which we're good stewards of the land and and our people as well.
Hey, Nick, one of our listeners in Idaho, Rick, was wondering, how much space you need for your entire program. How many acres, if you know, do you have in growing?
Well, Rocket Farms encompasses about 7.5 million square feet of greenhouse space, and so it's quite a bit. We have 1.2 million square feet in Half Moon Bay on one facility, and about 500,000 on another facility within Half Moon Bay. So that facility itself is about 1,750,000 square feet, but that's only about 40% of our grow space of what we use for the market.
He also was wondering if some of your products, you were talking about the Venus flytrap, are popular or maybe showcased in schools.
You know, it's interesting. Through our marketing and branding firm, we have introduced these to schools within the region as a back-to-school program, and we donate quite a bit of product for that program. It has good success. Kids love it. I could never even grow enough product if we wanted to give it away to all the students. But we have done things like that. We participate in the Half Moon Bay agricultural program, to where we donate our time and some money to that program in the greenhouse space education.
Hey, Nick, we're going to have to take a quick break again. Talking with Nick Bavaro with Rocket Farms. Be right back after this break.
Again and again. That's right, Tiger. Hey, those on Facebook Live, you just like Rick. Questions, comments, be sure to post them right there, and we will address those. In the meantime, we are going to take a break. Those on Biz Talk Radio, Facebook Live, you're tuned in to Garden America. Happy weekend. Tiger Palafox, John Bagnesco. I'm Brian Main, back after these messages on Biz Talk Radio. We are back in action, as they say. And again, those on Biz Talk Radio, this is the final segment of your hour number one. News coming up top of the hour, followed by many Garden America sponsors. And again, we'll kick things off hour two, 6 minutes after. Here on Facebook, though, we just keep on rolling along, Tiger, talking about a lot of things with our guest Nick this morning, growing indoor plants and the incredible facilities at Half Moon Bay.
Yeah, and for those of you that are just joining us, we're talking with Nick Bavaro with Rocket Farms. And, you know, during the last segment, Nick, you were talking about how large the facilities were that you guys do grow things out of, how you guys are growing plants sustainably. The products you are growing, you know, we're not just talking flowering plants, we're also talking edibles and herbs. You know, in the upcoming years, you know, what is the Rocket Farm plan? Are you guys continuing to expand, develop new products? What are you guys working on?
Yeah, we are. I mean, you never stop evolving, especially when it comes to this category. We're currently in the process of doing a $15 million expansion on another facility to really dive into more products that we feel that are necessary for an indoor growing opportunity in the edible world. We really are focused on continuing our floral program and growing that program. But we really believe in sustainable farming for indoor growing, whether it's through IPM programs or organic. We think it's the future to give Americans, you know, good, safe, nutritious food grown locally with a clear understanding that it is not brought here from out of the country, but actually grown here within California.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the products you're talking about definitely make sense to just be able to grow. And, you know, what a great way to introduce. I mean, if you're a novice gardener and you don't quite know what you're doing, it's not hard, I think, for most people to, you know, be able to buy something at a store, know they're going to be successful by having it indoors on their countertop, having it be in their face every day. I mean, because that's one of the problems with some people with vegetables is, you know, they plant them in the backyard and they don't see them every day. They don't realize they have a few ripe tomatoes. They don't realize, you know, that, you know, they're there, and then they forget that they're there. And, you know, but having it in your face on your countertop, what a great reminder to eat healthy, think more organically and do all of that. So, I think that's an awesome effort you guys are putting in towards developing that program, Nick. People, again, can find your products, Rocket Farm products, at most major retailers. You guys do have a little an online platform as well, right, though? If people can't find them locally?
Yeah, a lot more efforts going into that will grow. Stay tuned on that. Our website can send you in that direction, but our online presence is growing larger and larger every day, and that is one segment that we will expand on here in the near future.
Hey, we do have one quick question from Carla in Huntington Beach, and from experience, I know this is probably the last thing that a grower wholesaler wants to hear, but she's wondering if you ever offer tours of any portions of your facilities. It sounds like something a lot of people would be interested in.
Yeah, we do tours through the facility, but because of food safety, especially in our potted herb production, it is very limited.
Right.
But we do give tours to media, political people, and some folks that come on the property. We don't want to hide anything, but food safety is a very big concern of ours. And so we have to be very cautious how we do that. But we do tours on occasion, yes.
Yeah, neat.
So, Carla, if you run for political office, Nick will give you a tour.
Yeah,
or pick up a media badge.
Yeah.
Well, Nick, we know you're a very busy man. I want to thank you very much for joining us this weekend. Good luck with the upcoming season. And, when you guys expand again with Rocket Farms, please let us know so we can have you back on to learn about your new ventures, okay?
Thank you very much, guys. It was a pleasure.
All right,
Great.
take care.
Thank you, Nick. And I guess John was correct in terms of that same facility.
Yeah.
And just how, because you talked about miniature roses, how impressed you were with their miniature rose program.
Yeah, the founder of Nurserymen's Exchange, Carl Perlstein, let's see, what year was it that I first went out there? Was
59?
1972.
Okay, off by, 12, 13 years?
And I was so impressed with the things that he was doing. And, of course, being from Michigan, at that time I was with Frank's Nursery and Crafts, which was a Michigan-based chain of garden centers. And we came out here, and we were so impressed that we bought, I think it was 2 or 3 truckloads of material from Nurserymen's Exchange.
From them?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm trying to think now, but I'm pretty sure that they were the ones who introduced the tree tomato.
Oh, really?
And they used to be on the Tiger probably doesn't know what Sunday magazines are, but like Parade magazine.
I was going to say, is that like Parade?
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
Parade.
Yeah. Okay.
Are they still they're like 3 pages now, right?
Right. It used to have a lot more
online.
pages,
It's online.
but the back page always had tree tomatoes. Do you remember that, Brian?
Yeah, I do vaguely. Yes.
And they would talk about, growing these tomatoes on a tree, which, of course, no one anywhere in the country could do. It took 2 years to produce fruit, and it's not really a tomato. It's the
Some kind of solanum?
Tamarillo?
I don't know. Are you talking about like the tomatillo?
No.
Oh.
No, the Tamarillo.
Is it
I
a
think.
Solanaceae?
It could be. It's. I'm trying to think of is it Siphomander? The John Clements is listening. He would probably know. But anyway, they take 2 years to fruit. So anywhere in the country would they ever produce fruit except for maybe Southern California.
Yeah, very limited.
And then they were trees, actual trees, and not tomatoes. But they sold millions of those.
Oh, man.
Gimmicky, though, right? I think people bought them.
Yeah, it was done up in kind of a gimmicky way. It came in a little package with the little booklet in and how to grow them and things. No. But they had several items like that. It was really interesting.
We are going to take a break. Those on Biz Talk Radio, news coming up top of the hour. We're back at 6 minutes after. And on Facebook Live, it'll be a very, very short break as we take care of business here. So whatever direction you want to take this show in terms of what's on your mind getting into fall, winter before you know it here, we'll talk about that and a lot more here on Garden America. It is break time, as I mentioned, coming back very quickly on Facebook, Garden America with myself, Brian Main, John Bagnesco, Tiger Palafox. Stay right there at both Biz Talk Radio and Facebook Live. Welcome back to the program. Those on Biz Talk Radio, this is hour 2, and if you've been there since the beginning, thank you. Hanging in there for at least a couple of hours. And those on Facebook Live, we do appreciate you tuning in every single week. 8:06 is when we kick things off on the West Coast, and if you're on the East Coast, it's 11:06. And again, don't forget to go to our YouTube page, Garden America Radio, subscribe to the page, like it, and do the same thing on our Facebook page as well. The good thing about Facebook and YouTube, you can watch all the previous shows. Don't have to listen to a lot of other stuff. Just fast forward, pause, rewind. Do whatever you want to do. We are out there in so many different ways, Tiger.
Yeah, and I know we had show and tell last week, and then John did bring in his Gerbera Daisy here that's on the counter, and I happened to bring in a plant that I saw come into the nursery and was excited about.
You were impressed by this.
Yeah, because for those of you that know what Cyclamen are, they are a plant that comes into the garden centers during this time of year when it cools off. They do well in the wintertime here in Southern California. And they mostly have kind of I would call an upright, kind of closed look flower. They come in whites and pinks and purples. And this one came into the nursery, and it's a different style flower. I would say it would be an open flower.
The flower's a little more open?
Yeah, exactly. So you actually see the, 1, 2, 5 petals that it actually has, where normally you wouldn't see the 5 petals because all of them are kind of together on a cyclamen.
So this is spread out more?
Yes.
In a way?
Yeah. It's like a daisy.
But you only see the back side of the flower.
Which is also where you have the connection to the flower.
Right.
And it looks really neat because it's white and
kind of
red.
like pinwheels or
right?
something.
Pinwheels.
Yeah.
There you
That's
go.
a good term. And so it's a Cyclamen persicum. And then this one here, we're trying to figure out how you would say this. It's DJIX. So Digix or Jix or Yix.
Spell that again for our Facebook viewers so they can chime in. It's how you spell it?
DJIX.
DJIX.
Yeah.
And of course,
And
John is getting a lot of birthday wishes on his phone this morning.
I would say that's pronounced DJ9.
Oh, they're very good. Throw some Roman numerals in there, right?
Exactly.
And there's a close-up on Facebook Live for those watching.
The whole side of our guest home it faces north, so it's shady, right? So we have camellias planted there, and then my son had put in there last year cyclamen. And you kind of think of cyclamen as a potted plant. You don't think of it coming back every year, but they're in full bloom right now, a year later. And cyclamen I think if you've got the location, are really great bedding plants.
Excellent.
They'll continue to come back.
Yeah.
So it's a good, easy plant to grow.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the thing. People kind of treat them, I think, as annuals. And maybe, in some areas
I think the big mistake is treating them as a house plant.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's a potted, they're sold as potted plants, right? You bring it in, and within a week, they're dead.
Yeah.
And it's because they need cool weather to begin with.
And people usually keep their houses warm during this time of year. Or
So that's why
why
this is a good time of the year now, right? They should thrive.
Yeah, and they
outside.
do need bright light. But yeah, put them outside on a covered patio or something, and they'll last forever.
And anybody that's looking for a poinsettia supplement, as far as that red and white, they're excellent in potted arrangements, bedding areas during this time of year to give you that kind of Christmas feel. And then some of them even have a cool fragrance. And then, Brian, you like this. This one here has a very nice leaf, deep green.
Love
it's got
leaves.
some coloration
Yeah, it
on
does.
it, right?
Yeah.
And cyclamen also are bred for their foliage. Sometimes it's not just about the flower, it's the foliage. Sometimes they have a solid green, kind of it's not variegated. I don't know what you would call that when it has that different color, because it's not variegated, right, John?
Mottled.
Mottled?
It is variegated,
Is
but when it's like that, they call it mottled.
Mottled, yeah. So, and the leaves sometimes are small, the leaves sometimes are large. It's a really neat plant. Really neat plant.
Lenore from Canyon Country says they grow wild in Israel. Would you think they would grow there?
Well,
Because of the weather?
Yeah, well, now when Sharon and I were in the Julian Alps in Slovenia, we saw those growing wild, and they were the dwarf ones, right? And they were extremely fragrant.
I was going to say, you told me you saw them growing wild before, and that blows my mind because they do grow wild in really neat environments. Right. So to see it actually in its natural environment would be pretty cool.
Because we're used to seeing them much differently.
I'm seeing it as like a florist.
In a florist, yeah.
I'm thinking this never would grow outside.
But I don't think of Israel and the Julian Alps with similar climates, so it's really interesting.
Well, they are a very tenacious plant. I mean, you can beat it up a little bit.
I think they're pretty tough.
Yeah.
Now, as they increased the flower size through breeding, they lost the fragrance.
Right.
But a lot of there are some fragrant lines coming out now where they're bringing the fragrance back in.
Yeah.
Similar to what happened to roses in the 70s. They
bred the smell, the fragrance.
Larger flowers, but then the fragrance disappeared, and then people started saying, hey, how come my roses don't smell? And they started working to bring it back.
I think that was kind of a given, right? With rose, there's a saying, stop and smell the roses.
Right, sure.
So if there's a rose that doesn't have a fragrance, is it really a rose?
The first thing you do with people, whether it's a rose or anything,
is smell them.
They smell it. And a lot of times I'll bring something home that for the most part does not have a fragrance, and the first thing I'll do is I'll hold it up to one of the cats to see their reaction because of their intense smell. And a lot of times they're like, "Oh, they can smell what we can't smell." Basically,
there's few things in the horticultural industry that we can evaluate the movie industry on. Like, if you're a police officer and you're in the military and you watch a movie that has military police, you're like, oh, that guy's uniform's wrong, or that woman isn't doing what they should be doing, in real life. The only thing we get is when in movies and they smell plants and we know what the plant is, and we're like, that doesn't have a fragrance.
It doesn't have a fragrance. No, exactly.
Well, there's a famous painting of a woman reaching up and smelling a camellia.
Oh.
And we know camellias are not fragrant, right?
Yeah. So, it's like, where did you come up with that?
David wants to know the best edibles to plant this time of year in places like San Fernando Valley.
Okay. Well,
I would say that this heat wave we're having right now is probably the end, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cross your fingers so you can go right into winter planting.
Yeah. Your broccoli, your cauliflowers, your leafy greens, your spinaches.
Because the soil would still be warm right now for the most part, right?
Well, if you're for germinating seeds, but you don't really care that much.
You're more worried about all these things kind of bolting or
right. You don't want it to be too hot.
Yeah. So
now, what if we get a sudden freeze though? All of a sudden,
they would. First off,
it wouldn't bother them.
Yeah, I was going to say we don't get the freeze that would bother them. Meaning, like the sudden freeze that we get isn't really a freeze.
Not 32.
Yeah, exactly. And they would probably actually love it because the reason why they grow broccoli in the Pacific Northwest is it's like a nice cool for long periods of time. And that's how you get a big cauliflower head or broccoli head. The reason why we get small broccoli here in San Diego is because it's cool, but not cool enough. So you like it when it gets cold here for your winter and fall plants, vegetable plants.
But all the root crops can go in this time of year also: radishes, carrots, beets, peas. Not beans this time of year, but peas. It's time to plant. Fava beans can go in if you like to grow fava beans. Let's see, I was just thinking of something. I don't know, the leafy vegetables. Yeah. Like you were saying, lettuce, spinach, chards,
Boy,
Bright
that
lights.
list goes on and on.
Bright light Swiss chard.
Bright light Swiss chard is a plant that they even use in arrangements, potted plant arrangements this time of year because the stems are red or pink or yellow or orange. So, bright lights is a really neat one. And they even use like the purple cauliflower in arrangements. And and then
cauliflower
kale.
comes in all colors now.
Yeah,
right?
kale though, like they have all the different kales as well that you can use as a edible plant, but also as a decorative plant.
We're going to take a break here on Biz Talk Radio, Facebook Live, coming right back. Keep those questions, comments coming on Facebook Live as we enjoy some time together on this Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, depending upon where you are. Again, go to our YouTube page. Lots happening. And we'll talk about the newsletter and talk about our website. So much more to come here on Garden America. Stay with us on Facebook Live and Biz Talk Radio. We are back on the air. It is so much fun to be on the air, in the air, around the air. It is Garden America, however you listen to us. Maybe you've got your earbuds on right now, streaming, digital, Facebook, YouTube. We appreciate it. And again, open to you on Facebook Live, whatever's on your mind. We're talking about camellias, talking about a lot of different things today as we get into the fall, winter months.
And, we were answering what fall vegetables, and we talked about this. I don't remember if it was last week or the week before, but I was expecting some fall bulbs.
Onions.
And-
it looks
onions,
like,
right?
Did
Well,
you
These
get
are
onions?
not onions. These are alliums. Alliums.
And what is the genus of the onion?
Hey,
It's allium, right?
it is. But
So that's in the same family.
Wait,
anyway.
hold that up
yeah.
from
So
a distance. You know what that looks like to me?
There we go. Boom. What does it look like?
Garlic.
Garlic.
Garlic, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, also in the
Same
allium
family. Right.
Yeah. So yeah, but these are special ones. These ones are called Gladiator. Which one did I get again?
Yeah, you said Gladiator.
Yeah, Gladiator. So these are 3 to 4 foot tall ones with those big ball flowers on
Are
it.
they giganteum? Does it say the species on there? Or
Giganteum.
It does not.
Allium.
It does not tell me the species. So I'm excited to plant these because we talked about before. I won't probably be very successful, but I'm going to give it my, good
And
old
not
college
successful because why?
try. We just don't have the proper environment
It's-
for it.
it-
They like
Our
it a little
zone?
cooler.
Is it our zone?
Yeah,
Are you going to chill those?
yeah, I think they like it a little cooler, and again, like we were talking about, it's not that we don't get cold here or cool; it's that we don't get it for the long period of time.
Build a refrigerated greenhouse.
or refrigerated garden,
Garden, yeah, exactly.
like just be like, oh, I'm just going to cool this area of my
A
yard.
little microclimate within
Yeah.
that area of your garden.
Yeah, so I'm excited to plant these. So this is something that I'm excited that got in this week as well. And it's funny, for those of you that are gardeners that like to deal with bulbs, it's one of those things that you go online, you order, and because they're not always the time of year that you get these random packages through the year,
Yes.
and you forget that you ordered them. This was definitely one of those
You forgot
ones.
you forgot about that.
Oh, yeah. And all of a sudden, I'm like, what is this
But
package?
you're very happy. It's like you got a new puppy.
Right. Well, it is.
I know, right?
I'm excited to plant them. So I'm excited to put those in the garden.
Boy, John is really
He's
intent.
just reading all of his birthday wishes. He's so happy.
No, I was actually trying to find out the species of your Allium Gladiator, and nobody wants to tell us what it is.
Really?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
It says the USDA hardiness zones are zones 4 to 8. and you are in zone 10.
Well, that's why it's going to be a challenge, right?
Yeah, I think you might need to chill it,
Yeah.
and just to be sure. But I mean, if you get one bloom out of them, you'd be happy, right?
Oh, right. I mean,
Yeah.
that's all I need is the one bloom. I'd be happy with that.
Do you remember at the Hampton Court Flower Show? There, we saw the allium display, and there was one that had a really crazy flower
Yeah.
to it. Do you remember what that was called?
No, I might have pictures of it that I can go back to. I remember taking pictures of the ones that I thought were really neat.
Yeah.
But it was just so neat, Brian. Like, so we're at this flower show, and they have all these alliums, and they plant them in rows. And so you just have these rows of these really neat flowers. And then you got, these really tall ones, these really short ones, white ones, purple ones, pink ones, the ones with the really weird flowers because alliums have a ball-like flower, but it's like an agapanthus, but smaller flowers. So it seems like a pincushion, really soft.
Mm-hmm.
But then there are the really neat ones that almost look like spikes out of it. And so it's just really neat to see the difference in them all. So,
and I imagine they did very well over there.
Oh gosh, I saw them in almost all the gardens when we went to them, and that's why I wanted them, is because I just saw them everywhere there, and it's just so neat to have this unique looking plant just sticking out, because you don't buy it for the foliage or anything. It's just one stem with a ball on top.
Yeah. The long borders over there
Yes.
had multitudes of things you never thought of before, right?
Right.
All mixed and growing together.
So if I talked to somebody who wasn't familiar with plants and I said to them, what did one allium say to the other? Dude, chill. They wouldn't get that, would they?
No, I don't really get it.
He pretends.
Hey, there's do you guys want to answer a philosophical question?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, bring it on.
Okay, well, Rick wants to know how younger generations are changing gardening trends for the future. Are there any varieties of plants changing for indoors? He said he's heard us say African violets aren't that popular anymore. Mm-hmm. And Tiger might be the one to talk about it, because not only is he younger, but he's selling to the public right now.
But much like anything else,
what goes around comes around.
Exactly.
Is that what you were going to say?
That's
yeah,
exactly,
and I'm
but
thinking the same thing, because the
cyclical.
houseplant trend right now is not that much different than the houseplant trend of the 70s.
Exactly. And I think you talk about the younger people, they want, like I think for a first-time gardener, you want to plant an edible, grow a radish so that you can see immediate results. And that'll build some confidence, right?
Right. But some things do change, to get back to what Rick is referring to. For instance, if you go back to the houseplant craze in the 70s, there were no orchids.
Right.
None at all.
No.
And now there's orchids everywhere. I mean, it's a throwaway plant.
You can't walk into
pretty
Trader
much.
Joe's without getting hit with an orchid.
And Nick from Rocket Farms is one of the reasons why, because they really did make orchids mainstream.
Right.
They produced so many of them, sold them to mass merchants, and like you said, like you walk into a Trader Joe's and they're just everywhere, and they're $19.99 kind of a thing. And when you look at buying a bouquet of flowers for $12.99, and you're like, oh, this orchid will last for 8 months. But in terms of African violets, I agree that they are out of fad now. They won't always stay out of fad, because there will be something that somebody will develop that will make it new and different, and then they'll come back. Because African violets are a good house plant, a good foliage plant and flowering plant that, but I just feel like there's so much more other plants out there right now that are exciting. But, one day somebody will get something.
Well, it's marketing and awareness.
Yeah.
My sister in Michigan has African violets that I would say are probably over 20 years old.
Wow.
Really?
And they're huge. they're maybe huge for an African violet. They're well over a foot tall, 12 by 12, maybe even getting close to 2 feet wide. And she has them in bloom all the time. I don't know what she does, but if they find a spot that they like,
Don't.
Yeah, they
move
settle
it.
in.
Yeah.
Don't move me.
African is kind of a weird name for the violet. They are from Africa, but they're from the tropical parts of Africa.
Right.
And they're not drought tolerant.
Not at all.
Usually you think African things as being drought tolerant, not the violets. Yeah. And the main thing for African violets is they need really bright lights, and an overhead light source is what they need to keep the leaves flat. Mm-hmm. If you don't have the overhead light source, the leaves come up and kind of cover the flowers. Mm-hmm. But overhead light will keep the leaves flat, and then the flowers are right in the middle, like a little bouquet or something.
It is break time. We have 2 more segments coming up, those tuned in on Biz Talk Radio and right here on Facebook Live. So we're going to take a quick break, a bit longer on Biz Talk Radio. Stay with us. As I said, 2 more segments coming up, and plenty of time for your questions and your comments here on Garden America. Just like that, we are back. And again, those on Biz Talk Radio, anytime you want to watch us and hear us live, go to our Facebook page, Garden America Radio. Go to our YouTube page under the same name, and you can watch all previous shows. That's all I got. That's it.
We have a little education here from Lenore.
Okay.
Because she's letting us know, which I knew, and I should have put it together, that Cyclamen persicum, that persicum means from Persia. Which is Iraq, right?
Yep.
And she would think that the...
Yeah, you were talking about how you didn't think they would come from Israel.
Right.
But looks
Same
like...
climate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming from Iraq. Yeah.
And they probably grow in
the mountainous
regions areas,
of it
right?
all. Yeah. Yeah, that is the thing, like you just said with the African violet. People instantly, Africa, they think of lions, the savannah. Where would these violets ever grow?
Okay, the first thing
it's a
you think
big
about,
continent.
Most people when you say Arizona, desert,
Right,
hot,
right.
heat. They don't know about the northern part, which is forest, snow, cold.
Yep.
Same kind of a thing. Your immediate description or what you perceive it to be.
Carla was asking a question from the newsletter. She was surprised reading about the mums, that mums don't have petals, that the flowers are actually in the center of what looks like the flower.
Right.
And those are actually, instead of petals, are sepals.
Right.
So, yes, that's true.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought there was something else. Yeah.
No, the newsletter had, I wrote an article on the 13 different classes of mums, according to the American Chrysanthemum Society, because there's so many different shapes of mums that, at one time mum shows were more popular than rose shows, like towards the turn of the last century. And probably it's still true in Japan, in places like that. But if you ever have a chance to go to a chrysanthemum show, you'd be amazed.
And there's ones that don't even look like chrysanthemums in your eyes. Meaning like you're like, that's not a chrysanthemum because, it doesn't have that classic ball head on them.
Right.
So, yeah, you would never even think.
Brush and thistle class that I think you're referring to is one. And they look like little feather dusters.
Right.
And then they even have the exotic class, which anything that doesn't fit into one of the top 12 classes goes into the bottom. But there's some that look just like daisies.
Right.
And then there's spoon chrysanthemums.
Those ones.
I always like those.
I was going to say, those ones are going to be one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was some osteospermums, and they had some spoon ones as well. And I always found them to be very interesting. So I like that spoon class.
Kathy from Neyland says that the African violets did well in her office because they were under the fluorescent lights. That's what it requires is an overhead fluorescent light.
They love it,
yeah.
Right? Yeah, and that's what we're saying. This is not a plant that didn't do well, so it went out of fad, or it's just, like anything. Like, why do we not wear bell-bottom jeans right now? But they are coming back.
Well, several years ago, they came back again.
Yeah.
And to a lot of people, it's hip, it's new.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not.
It's neither hip nor new.
Nor new, exactly.
Yeah.
Although you do wear them low on your hips. We call them hip huggers, right, John?
Right.
Back in the day?
Yeah.
Hip huggers.
Yeah, hip huggers.
And you had to have the striped ones, right?
Striped, with a big belt buckle, round belt buckle.
They looked like the mattresses used to be made out of that material.
Yeah. Guys and girls, everybody. back in the day.
The day.
You know, to a lot of people, right now is the day.
Yeah.
This is the day.
Yeah.
Rick wants to know if I planted any bulbs at my new house. And the only bulbs so far are daffodils that are planted around the guest house, but nothing in the landscape at my house yet. I do have some things, special bulbs in pots. And I think we talked about last week the Brunsvigia that I'm hoping is going to bloom this year. And I have some hemanthes and some unusual things, but plenty of spaces for bulbs.
Are you going to plant any of the paper whites and things throughout there, maybe as like a little bit of some gopher deterrent protection, or no? What do you think?
Yes, I think so.
Because it's just kind of an easy thing,
Right.
You know, those
They'll come
gopher,
back every year.
yeah, and you don't care, like, you know, meaning
Right.
they're just, and if they come up, they
Right,
come
it
up.
doesn't
like,
matter.
like, and you don't care that they come up, kind of a thing.
Does your patio, like when you sit on your patio, do you see, is that the gopher area that's of concern from your patio?
From my back patio, you don't see anything except the valley.
Because he's at the very top of the slope.
Because I was going to suggest just sit on your patio, get a shotgun, a little spittoon.
I could see John. Yeah.
I did buy a squirrelinator yesterday.
Is that cage that's like a big square cage?
Right.
And it comes with the basin to put water in it?
Well, my neighbor told me about it.
Squirrelinator.
She's a German woman, and she told me that she's caught 300
I'm sure.
with the squirrelinator.
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah, and she goes, and then you just put them in the bath, and
In the bath.
she was speaking
him in the
broken English, you know, and I couldn't understand everything she was saying, and until I bought one, I didn't realize what the bath was.
Yeah.
So what eventually,
So it's this
happens
cage
to
that's
them.
probably like 2 feet by 2 feet square. Okay. And you put stuff in the cage and they can't get out. So it's kind of like this one way in, no way out kind of a cage.
like Hotel
So-
California?
Yeah, exactly. And so the thing is you can capture, I mean, I've seen pictures where there's 20 squirrels in one cage. And in San Diego County, I don't know if it's all of California or what else the rules are. You're not allowed to move animals, meaning it's actually illegal to take them
And
then
relocate
release them in like the Cleveland National Forest or anything like that. So the only thing you're really supposed to do is they sell a 2 foot by 2 foot perfect basin that you fill with water, and you just take that cage and submerge it in water, and then you drown the squirrels.
Aw,
Yeah.
this didn't have a happy ending.
Yeah.
So they'd rather have you drown
However,
them.
my neighbor says that the coyotes love them. She feeds the coyotes.
just the dead squirrels, she just
Yeah.
leaves them out.
Right.
Well, okay, so now you're encouraging coyotes.
Which are actually good, though, because coyotes don't hurt your garden.
no, but your chickens.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But maybe if you fed them squirrel, they would leave your chickens alone.
Hey, we got a great email here that is pretty hard for me to disagree with. It's from, whoops,
A great email or a great message on
a
Facebook?
great message on Facebook. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know what I just did, but I'll read it in a second since right now nothing is working on my computer.
Did we
It just
answer Dell's
froze up.
question? Maybe did I miss that from a while back?
Let me look. I don't know.
I buy basil at the store.
No, we're going to do that next, Brian.
Okay,
Don't
okay,
get
okay. I
ahead
got
of-
you. I want to make sure.
Rat zapper
here it
works
is.
on squirrels.
Now, this one is from Jesse in Fallbrook. And he says, "Happy birthday to the greatest man alive."
Oh.
Are you
Don't
sharing
forget
are
it
you
says
sharing
love.
a birthday?
It's
Love-
love you,
love you,
Dad.
Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a good one.
You know, Jesse surprises me every now and then. He came home probably about, this was a while back, maybe 15 years ago. And he had done something that I said, well, I'm really impressed. You did a good job. You really stuck to it. And finished that. And he goes, yeah, I'm indefatigable. I go, what?
Indefatigable.
It's like, can't be stopped. You know,
Pretty good.
It's like, I had to go look that word up. Okay, so Dell says he buys basils at the store with no soil. when I plant them in the soil, they struggle.
Yeah.
Well, any suggestions? You've got to, first of all, basil's a problem because it's an annual, right? And it's going to, if its growing cycle's disrupted, it's going to want to go to seed. So what you're going to have to do if you go to transplant it into soil is make sure it's a really loose soil. Add a lot of perlite to it so it drains really well, and then cut it back so that you'll be getting new leaves that are going to be adjusted to growing in soil and growing in brighter light conditions. I did a similar thing, except it was in a little pot. I told you my wife had some of her nurse practitioners over for a dinner, and she made Pimm's, which was the drink that we had when we were in England.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And one of the things that was in the Pimm's was mint.
Makes sense.
So I was at the store, and I actually couldn't find the little packaged mint that you find sometimes, but they had mint plants.
We're going to break.
And I'll tell you what I did after
We're going to finish
break.
the story.
All right.
We have one more segment. Time is of the essence. We're going to take a quick break to get back to John's story after this on Garden America. Back here on Garden America for your Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, happy weekend. Final segment as we wrap things up, but back to John's story to continue that thought.
Yeah, I was talking about just prior to the break about how I had bought a mint plant at the supermarket rather because I couldn't find the cut packaged mint. So I brought it home, stuck it in the window in a pot, or in a glass actually, to keep water in the bottom, which is what the directions suggested, until my wife needed the mint. Then she cut the mint and put it in the drinks. But then I took the plant outside and put it into a pot, because you never want to put mint in the ground.
No.
Unless you're trying to crowd out Bermuda grass. Then the mint would do a good job. But anyway, I put that in a pot, and it just now is acclimating to being outside.
Just now.
So it's been about 2 to 3 weeks, and pretty soon I'll have a mint plant in a pot that we can drink all the Pimm's we want.
And then the other thing I replied to Dell was a water-soluble fertilizer when you do it, because those particular plants have been grown hydroponically, which means that they're constantly being fed via the water that they're being grown in. And so if you put them in soil as well to get them to not go through that shock, if you feed them a little bit, that'll buy you a little bit of time for the roots to grow and develop before, it might. Because sometimes when I've done the basil and I put it in soil, if the roots don't grow, then it just never is successful as well. So, use a water-soluble fertilizer and transplant. And I say water-soluble because it's fast-acting versus like a Osmocote or something else, because you need it to happen like that day.
Well, you know what I think would be good, now that you mentioned that, to add to that fertilizer mix would be hydrogen peroxide.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Because, as you point out, they've been grown hydroponically, so those are water roots, not soil roots.
Yeah.
And sometimes you wonder how, like your pothos here that's sitting in a bucket of water, how can that grow in pure water when, if you overwater a plant, it dies?
Right.
And the reason is that if they develop water roots, they only grow in water.
That's it. And
not in soil.
Fluorescent lights, it's dark in here.
And vice versa. So if you can get hydrogen peroxide, which has some oxygen in it, it'll help the new roots as they come out adapt to the soil. Yeah. So that's a great idea, Tiger.
And then if all else fails, just use HB 101, and we cannot answer why it works, but it does just work.
Especially for transplanting and sickly-looking plants.
Magic, and it just works. It's probably got hydrogen peroxide. It's probably got the fertilizer all in there.
Exactly.
We just don't even know, and it's all in there, all in one. So, because that is a common thing that people run into, is they buy the basil, they buy the mint, they buy those plants, those herbs in the produce section, and they are just roots in these little packages. And then, like as John mentioned, they're not soil roots, they're water roots. You have to acclimate them, you have to adjust them, and then they will grow. But basil, man, that stuff, like you say though, John, it'll bolt so quick that you just grow it from seed. because that's easier to do, and you can always have a little bit starting all the time. Super easy plant to grow from seed as well.
Brian Dana says that the Gerbera Daisy looks so nice in the shot there that we should keep it there for every show.
I wonder if we came back next week and this Gerbera Daisy
Didn't move.
Didn't move. It
Kept
just
it right
stayed in
there.
this. The leaves would all look completely yellow by next week, I feel. Don't you? What do you think? You think they would last longer than a week? No light.
Not without any light.
No light.
There would be
No,
roughly,
because it's been out in full sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't
It's
do well.
just in full sun.
It would just be, and that's the funny thing people don't think about. And we were talking with Nick with Rocket Farms earlier, and he was talking about shipping plants across the country. And
Right.
the reason why they have to have different locations set up across the country is because you cannot ship certain plants a certain distance without them just failing in the truck, which is some people don't realize that, like, oh, well, that truck was just on the road for 2 days. It's like those 2 days in a dark truck literally killed that plant.
Right. So if you have different locales across the country, less travel time.
Yeah.
And
you can ship that plant for
already
8 hours.
acclimated to about that geographical area.
Yeah.
I think I told you this before, but when I was buying plants for the garden centers in the Midwest, around the Detroit area, we would sometimes buy things from California. And one of the things we bought a truckload of was cactus.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget the name of the company we used to buy them from. But anyway, they would ship them back, and I would say maybe 20% of the boxes ended up upside down.
Oh.
And they were little 2-inch pots of cactus, and they would be all over the place. And it was really frustrating, as because you couldn't get cactus anywhere else in
And they were probably
Michigan.
expensive for you at the time, too.
Yeah, actually, they were comparatively cheap, but still, it just wasn't a good scene. So we just designed a box that had no top to it, only like 3 inches around the sides that folded over onto an insert to hold it in place. But you could actually see the plants in the center of this box. And we never lost another plant after that because none of the guys handling the boxes wanted to tip those over on themselves, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
make a mess or something they'd have to clean up out of their truck. So instead of tossing them, they took care of them.
Okay, just a very few moments here to wrap it up for another Saturday. What's on next week's agenda?
Hey, I just wanted
Yeah,
to
go ahead,
mention
John.
quickly that Jimmy said that he buys basil plants from Trader Joe's, and he treats them with HB 101 Tiger, and they do very well.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Okay, we're going to wrap it, I think. Any last minute?
Yeah, no, next week we're back with Marissa from the Japanese Friendship Garden. They're having a special event. And I'm going to
Perfect.
go there this upcoming week
Oh,
and
you can
shoot
do
some
a video?
video.
I was going to say video and some
all right.
pictures.
Yep.
Okay, hey, that said, thank you so much for joining us. We do appreciate you making it a habit and joining us as much
and
as you can.
thanks for all the birthday wishes.
And they're going to still keep
I
coming, John.
appreciate it.
You betcha. From Biz Talk Radio to Facebook Live, I'm Brian Main, Tiger Palafox, John Begnasco. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a safe week, and we'll do it again next weekend right here, 8 o'clock or so West Coast, 11 o'clock or so Eastern Time Zone. Take care and get growing.